Hello everyone, Amanda here with Eclectic Scribbles. I am back to you today with a brand new video. Today's video is going to be the fourth in the series of 100 days of Eclectic Tangles, and we are going to be days 21 through 25 today. So I have already done my step outs, and I'm going to walk you through each of the 5 designs. So before we get started, make sure that you have hit that subscription button down below if you haven't already, and hit the little notification bell so you are informed each and every time I upload new content. Alright, so let's jump right in. Day 21 is going to be Cobbles, and that is for April the 22nd. And what I have done for this one is pencil in these little 4 hump rainbows, because that is technically, I believe, the first step of this actual tangle. So you're going to make alternating cobble rainbows. So we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4. But the idea of this is to do it in pencil so that you can erase it later. So I have got that all penciled out here. I have got 3 whole ones and 2 half ones hanging out the side of my box. So I'm going to do one of these for now, just to walk you through the actual pattern. So the next step is going to be to make these parallel lines on each of the little humps to connect the two. So we're going to do that all around each of the humps. So we're going to put 3 down here. You can put as many as you want to make them whatever size that you want. So I'm going to try to do this a little bit neater than I actually did my example and my step out. So we're going to make these all the way around. I'm going to have them coming off the side here. And then I'm going to do this last hump as well. You don't want them to touch even if they're right on top of each other. So you're going to want to give them a little bit of room in each one. So that is all of these. Now you're going to connect the top of each line with the one across from it. So basically it will look like little cobblestones, hence the name, when you're done. So you're going to connect each one of the little sections, and they'll run off the side of your pattern here. So we're going to do that all the way around the top. You may hear a couple of things in the background, but I'm trying to get this video filmed on time, so you hear the dogs, there they go. Alright, so we're going to connect each one of these little stones all the way through. Okay, and then the very last step is to shade it any way you want, which is what I've got these little stippling indications here. So you just go in and shade around. Not that I have anything to shade with at the moment, but you're going to shade around the corners to give it sort of a little bit of depth, and then you can draw patterns inside of them if you want. And so the idea is there will be a full box full of these when you're done. Another thing is, if you only have pen, there is also an example of how you can fix that, because to start you'll have to draw in your rainbow in pen. So if you go in and then create these little thick lines and color in all of the holes, you'll end up with something like this. So that takes care of Cobbles. Number 22 is Trio, and that is for April 23rd. It was a little lengthy as far as the step out is concerned, but it's really easy to do, and we're going to walk through that. So the first one is this little circle with this loop coming down off of it. So we're going to make that. Again, I'm going to try to make it a little bit neater than some of these came out, but you'll get the gist. Okay, and then you're going to start up here where this circle meets this loop, and you're going to come out from it and wrap around the outside of what you just did and bring it down. And then for this next step, you are going to do it again. So you are making one big swirl 3 times basically. Now for the next step, you're going to make one hump come off of this right here, and then you're going to sort of bump out and connect this down to the bottom, just like so. So just bump out and come down to the bottom, and then you're going to do that twice more. For these next 2 steps, you're going to make another hump on top of that one, and then bump out one more time. And then for this step, you're going to do the same and bump out. And then down here, you're going to loop around and come down and connect it to where everything meets. And then you're going to make little humps all the way through this upper portion on the inside. So one there, one there, and you're going to start spinning it around. One there, one there, and then you're just going to keep going all the way up and spinning around until you have run out of room. And then the very last step is going to be doing the exact same thing on this opposite side here. So we're going to bump out from that little thing on the middle and just keep going. And then very, very last, you have the option to shade it any way that you like. You can color some of them in. You can give the shading around these edges here to make it look like the center portion is pushed back in. Or you can shade here around this swirl to give it the impression that that swirl is sort of dipping down in and is behind the rest of this stuff, and the stuff is coming up and out. So you embellish any way that you want. All right, number 23 is Heart Warp for April 24th, and it is super easy little flower thing. So the first thing that you're going to do is start with a circle in the middle of your box and come out and make almost a complete heart. So you're going to bump once and then stop right here before you come back down, and then you are going to connect it 4 more times. So start in the middle and come out. Start in the middle, come out, and you can do this more than 4 times if you happen to need another petal to make it full, but 5 is a general rule for that. And so you're going to connect them all the way around. Then you are going to go in and do the same thing on the inside of each one of these little petals and stop there. So you're just making it look like it's got a strip running instead of being a full petal. So that does that. And then the last thing that you're going to do is make it look like the little petal strips connect down to the bottom from each side. So you're just going to come off of what you have down below. You're going to throw your pen if you want. And there you have that. So really, really simple and really cute. Fun and easy to do. Next is 24, which is FloraLove, and that's for April 25th. So we're going to start with this sort of star shape with 5 points on it. We're going to loop out from the middle of each one of those points. Just like so, and make lines inside of each one of those loops. Just like that, and then you're going to connect each one of those little points to make flower petals. And then you have the option to stop there or embellish any way you want. So this is just an example of one of the embellishments that is listed there, and all I did was make these little leaf shapes to come up and off of each section, and then put vertical lines in it. Mr. King is outside gardening, so y'all have to excuse that. And then thickened up the lines in the little star and colored them in, and drew a little circle in the middle. So that's how you get to this point, should you choose to. You can leave it just the way it was if you want. Alright, and then lastly, what we have for this one is 25, which is, I'm going to call Karuijunda 4, and that's for April 26th. So we're going to do that right down here. Really simple. You're going to separate this into a grid. So I'm using an 8x8 box, so this will be 2x2 boxes once we get it all sectioned out. So there we have that, and then you're going to make these little sort of coffee bean shapes inside of each one. You're going to have these two go in here, and these two going like this. So all 4 beans are coming in and facing each other. The next step is going to be to continue that. So all of the ones down this diagonal line will face this way. All of these will face this way, and they'll sort of alternate. Okay, so we left off right here. I had to take a quick little break real quick. So we're going to move on to our next step, which is to make these little shapes in between each one. And basically what you're going to do for it is draw a line from one end to the other in each one, and then you're just going to make these little humps all the way through it, and then fill in any gap that you happen to have. And you're going to go through and do that for each and every one. So I'm going to do that, and I will be right back. Okay, so now we have each one of those filled in, and the next step is going to be to make these little wavy lines going from each one. And you can make these any way that you want. You can hump each one of the little sections sort of out like this, and then come back out on either side and have sort of a uniform look coming down, or you can sort of curve in and out like this on both sides and still be fairly uniform, but it gives it a little bit more like hand-drawn look, and I kind of like that effect. So I'm just going to twist these back and forth. It's like over and under. It's sort of like you're weaving that in. Excuse the motorcycles and stuff in the background. You just weave in and out of each one, and then you're going to do that as well for each of these rows. So there we have that. I've also got a phone going crazy beside of me, so I apologize for that, but we're almost done here. Alright, so there are each one of those little sections with these little lines in them, and then finally it's just a matter of shading and decorating any way that you want. So a couple of the things that you can do is fill in some or all of these gaps in between this little coffee bean shape and the wavy lines, and that will give it a nice effect. So you've got that. You can fill in the entire space and give it a more depthful look. You can fill in some of these little wavy lines if you want. You can connect them in the middle, cross over some of these little lines here, and make sort of a diamond shape in between each bean, and give it a little something extra there as well. So how you sort of decorate this is on you as well. You can do it with full color, you can do it with little hash marks, you could do it with shading, you can do it with little striped lines and things like that. So you can decorate them absolutely any way that you choose. That is going to round out these 5. I will see you back in a few days to do the next 5. So we'll do 26 through 30 next go round, and those are going to start with pixie eyes or pixie ooze. I don't know how you say it, but we're going to start on our second little box for that one. All right, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a big thumbs up if you found it at all helpful. Until next time, bye everyone.